welcome to another battle report. So this time I'm facing off the Dread Elves, and the special scenario for this game is we have to choose 3 of our opponent's units. 2 of them have to be scoring, and the first player who kills 2 of those units gets 4 battle points, and the first opponent to kill all of the opponent's selected unit get 2 battle points, so a 6 battle point for scenario. And when we walk through the different troops, I will point out whose unit is we did choose, and so on. But anyway, let's start with his list. First off, he have 5 scouted Raven Cloaks. Then he got a unit of Dark Riders on that hill. Then he got a unit of Dark Acolytes and a Dread Reaper in the forest. Then he got another Dread Reaper also in the forest. Then he got a unit of Reapers. I choose that as one of the units I am supposed to kill. Then he got a big boss of Dread Knights in there. He got his BSB. Also one of my chosen unit I have to kill. And behind there he got an altar and also one of my chosen units. So those 3 units are the units I need to kill for this game. Then he got a Spearman unit with his Oracle of Fire scroll in it. Another unit of Reapers. Another Dread Reaper Bolter. On that impasse train he's have an Assassin who is hidden. And then he got a unit of 15 Dancers of Yema. I will have his list in the description below, as well as my own. So for my own list I got 4 Grail Knights, and then a Treb, a unit of Fast Cab. Behind them I got a Aspiring Lance with my first Damsel in it, the Scroll Carrions, as well as my BSB. And then I got an unit of Realm Knights next to that with my General it. And for this whole tournament I played it wrong. My Castellan are deployed in my Knights unit, which is totally wrong. I think I have 1 Castellan in that unit, unfortunately. So yeah, this is my farthest right flank. I think he also choose that Realm unit as one of his units he are supposed to kill. Then I got a Treb on that hill. Behind the hill I got my Reliquary to give the Treb some ward shape. A unit of Archer. Their job is to kill off the Dark Acolytes. The Treb on the hill is, by the way, one of the units he's supposed to kill. Then I got a unit of Fast Cav, and finally another lance of Aspiring Knights with my Damsel with the Tomb of Arcane Lore. And finally, for this flank, I have my Peg Knights, who I deployed there, and my Duke behind them to give him some cover from bolts. And that's the deployment. He dropped everything before me, so he gets the first turn. So this is just a picture of the spells I got for my damsels. For the one with Tomb of Arcane Lore, Cataclysm, Blessing, and Bolt. For the other one I got Guiding Hands and Hidden Path. Well, so this is his first turn. You can see he moves up his Dark Acolyte pretty aggressively, but otherwise he stay put. His Raptor Riders are pushed forward a bit, but that's it. On the other flank he pretty much stay put. He pushes up his Dancer of Yema pretty aggressively, and that's probably much where I realized where his assassin have hidden himself. Well, for magic I stopped the Dark Acolyte spell, who could do some really hurt to my knight to get off Burning Rampart onto my Realm Knight. With attribute he killed 2 of my Fast Cabs. His 5 Reaver Cloaks managed to kill 1 of my Peg Knights, so the Peg Knights panicked, and I have some pretty shaky rolls when I roll for my Duke's leadership test. but he is fine anyway. His Dread Reaper tried to kill off my Treb. They couldn't do anything. She shot single bolts. One of those hits and wound, and I ward saved it. So my fast cab, he killed 2 more of them with his crossbows, and that's basically his first turn. Oh yeah, this fast cav unit also panic and runs away, which is good for me, so because now my aspiring knights can charge his dark acolytes. And they do, and he chose wisely to flee from them, and he landed in front of his line. I flew up with my Duke. My plan here is I will use the breath weapon to get rid of those dread Raven Cloaks. My Peg Knights thankfully rallies. On the other flank, I didn't do much, to be honest. I stayed put. He got the Burning Rampart off on my Realm land, so I couldn't really move with that one. I back off with my Grey Knights and pivot my Aspiring Lands to maybe, if they need to, charge the Dancers of Yema. If I can get off the combo charge, I'm not too afraid of the Assassin. I think I can beat them down. I think I rolled piss poor from magic, so I couldn't really do much. I used my breath weapon on his skirmisher guy, and I only managed to kill 4 of them. And he passed his panic check, so he is okay. So for shooting, I think I tried to kill the altar, but it scattered off. I think I killed a couple of spearmen, but that's it. My bowman managed to kill 1 of the dark acolytes, and that's it for my first turn. So over to Dread Elf turn 2. So this is what happened. He moves up his Dark Rider in front of my Aspiring Lands to shaft them up from doing anything. And his Dark Acolytes keep on fleeing. Hopefully they will run off the board next turn, if I'm lucky enough. He moves his Raptor Dread Knights to the other side of that impasse terrain in the middle, as well as keeping his altar behind the Dread Knights to give them, I think, a ward save. That's his movement on this flank. In the middle, you can see here he stays put with most of his units, and his Dancer have no fear for my Grail Knights at all. They just push straight forward, not even afraid of a double charge of my both Knights unit. Well, he didn't manage to do much in his magic phase or his shooting phase at all, to be honest. So for my turn, well, I take my Duke next to his bolters. My hope here, I will just charge 1, kill it, or run into next, and so on. My Aspiring Lands charges the Dark Riders to get them out of the way, and just pursue because they are frenzy, so they can be in his backfield next turn. I take 1 of my Castellans and push it in front of his Dread Knights, so his Dread Knights cannot do anything nasty in his turn 3. And I pushes up my Peg Knights a bit. They are pretty much left behind since they fled turn 1. And yeah, over here, thanks to his angle, I could not really march out with my Grail Knights, so I just backed away with them as far as I possibly could. I pivot my Aspiring Lands and pushes them. I think I just pushed them backward, to be honest. And that's basically it on this flank. I need to keep those Dancers away from me. I want to lob like 2 traps on it in the shooting phase, and hopefully I can manage to do some damage to that unit. Magic, I couldn't really do much, to be honest. Shooting, I think I lobbed both my Treb onto his Dancers, and I managed to kill a couple of them, but that's it. My Aspiring Lands, of course, break the Dark Lances, Dark Raiders, and I think one of them survived, and I pursued and I captured him, so they are in a good position to do some charging in my turn 3 if they still survives. So for Dread Elf turn 3, first off he pushes up his dancers pretty far. He's actually out of the arc of the Grey Knights. So yeah, that's it. I need to get rid of those units. I think they are pretty much hurt enough, so my Aspiring Lance could on a charge kill that unit off, hopefully. So for his other move, he pushes up his altar forward, and his Dread Knight charges my lone Castellan, and they will make short work of him. And his Dark Acolyte rallies, and yeah, that's it for his movement. Oh, I forgot, he must have in his movement phase also pushed up this Spearman unit a bit, and my Realm Lance have taken some heavy losses from shooting and magic, so I don't have many of them left, so I don't think I will manage to kill those guys on a charge, unfortunately. Well, in shooting phase he did manage to do 2 wounds to my Duke, but it was not the bolters who did it. It was actually, I think, his crossbows who had managed to blink off 2 wounds on my lord, to be honest. But yeah, that's it for his turn. And yeah, my Castellan is of course dead, and he pivot his Raptor Riders like that, so he's out of arc of my Aspiring Lance, and in my Realm Lance have a front charge onto him. But he didn't think about, you will see in my turn what he didn't think about. Yeah, he didn't think about my Lord, who were actually charging the flank. So in the old classic Kingdom of Aquitaine fashion, I choose to charge my way out of my problems. So my Realm Lance and my Duke, so I had 2 Dukes into that Dread Knight unit, and my thinking there is I will kill those guys and yeah, just overrun into his altar with my lance, and I will have this game into my pocket. My Aspiring Lance also charge his Dread Reaper. They will overrun into next one, and then they will take care of his crossbows in my turn 4. So that's the plan, at least for this flank. I push up my Peg Knights in case something bad happens and they need to redirect something or whatever. We will see what happened. Well, on this flank, I actually think my Aspiring Lance, who charges the Dancer of Yema, will hopefully kill a lot of them on the charge. And I pivot my Grail Knights to charge them in the back turn 4 if I haven't been able to grind them down yet. Other news, I take my Treb behind that hill to hide it from sight from his Spearman, so he cannot charge the Treb next turn. I think I also back away with my Bowmen, so he cannot charge them either. And that's basically my movement. And yeah, unfortunately, what happened is his friend, who also played King of Aquitaine, came over and we talked a lot of shit, had a lot of fun, and after this combat we kind of talked about it, and we realized both me and the other King of Aquitaine player have gone the Rubber Lance Academy, who is mandatory for all Kingdom of Aquitaine's general. So we couldn't do a yak shit against his Dread Knight. I think I killed his champion in a challenge and like 1 more knight, but that's it. And I think, to be honest, he won this combat. Yeah, it hurt, I know, but sometimes the dice really hits ya. My Aspiring Knight managed to kill off the Dread Reaper and overrun into the next one. Well, this is not good at all. His assassin pops up, and the assassin managed to kill both my damsel and my BSB, which is kind of weird, I think. I don't think he would be able to strike both unless he had a 25 mil base. But whatever. They died. I flubbed spectacularly. Couldn't do jack shit towards him. And he overrun. I think he's in my trap and will probably kill it. So this isn't good at all. My whole battle line is falling apart spectacularly. Well, for his turn 3, I think his spearman charges the fleeing lands off the board. And well, on this flank, his altar charges the flank of my duke, so my duke is dead, unfortunately. And that's basically his movement. You can also see his dark acolytes are pushing up towards my bowman and Treb Hill. And yeah, that's it for his moment. He didn't do much in magic. This is just a picture of his Dancer of Yema killing off my Treb, shockingly enough, and I pivot around to face off my Grail Knight. Well, so for my turn, no, his combat, he killed my Flying Duke, he killed some more of my Realm Lands. I still got one Knight remaining, as well as my Lord. I think my Lord managed to heroically lethal blow his BSB at least, so that's something, to be honest. My Aspiring Lance kill off his other Dread Reaper, and I pivot them to charge his altar next turn. So over to my turn 3. And what is important in my turn? Well, this basically. My Aspiring Lance charges his War Altar, and this is actually after combat, or at least after the first combat. The Peg Knights charge the crossbows and manage to break them, and I run them down. So that's actually one of the unit I choose to kill are now dead. And the Aspiring Knight Lance charges down his altar and actually managed to catch it on the pursuit. And that's actually the second unit of my choosing is now dead. So that scored me, let's see, 4 battle points. So that's a good thing. Because he breaks my general and remaining Realm Knights and runs them down. So that would have granted him 2 battle points. You can see here I have pushed up my Great Reliquary to chop up his Dark Acolyte from charging the Bowman. This is before I knew his Dread Knights would break my General. He had pushed up his Spearman a bit. In shooting, my Archer actually managed to kill 3 of his fast caps, so that's really good. And I think my Grey Knights just back away from his line. So over to his turn 4 or 5. I think this is actually the last turn we play because we are out of time in this tournament. And yeah, actually we pretty much roll off the first turn, the final turn of our bow. He had actually pushed up his Spearman so he could see, actually, unfortunately, my Treb. It was sloppy play on my part, so he charged it. I should have just moved it out of arc, but I didn't. His Dark Acolyte charges, don't think he charges, to be honest. His Raptor ID charges my Bowman, break them, kill them, and for my final turn, my Peg Knight charges his final Dread Reaper, killing it. And actually, this is hilarious. He charges my Grey Knights. He managed to kill 2 Grey Knights. I managed to kill 5 of his Dancers. And I win this combat, and I break him, and I run him down, and scored a lot of victory points in this combat. So that's very much appreciated. So that's the game. It ended up being a victory for him, 12-8. I think I'm pretty happy with this, especially scoring those 4 battle points in the end for killing his unit. In the last turn he killed my Treb, so he managed to kill all of his chosen units, so he got those 2 battle points. But it was a very nice opponent and a very fun game to play. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments, post them below and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And that's it. Have a nice one.